Good morning. You want more proof? Caparoni's the biggest clueless moron on the planet. Here we go. Let's squash more of his intel. This is fun. We already squashed his first theory where he said that the Iraq dinar is not, that it has to float based on the amount of dinar in circulation, 74 trillion. That information's, the amount of dinar in circulation is correct, 74 trillion. Okay. Here's how we squashed it. Okay, guys, majority of that 74 trillion, that's what's in circulation around the world in and outside of Iraq. Okay, the way we squashed it was this. I've already found an article provided by the CBI. They blatantly said that the vast amount of dinar, once the rate changes, they mentioned delete the zeros in the article. Once the zeros are deleted, okay, they said that the physical amount of dinar in circulation is going to drastically reduce. Why? Again, because majority of the dinar, most of the dinar in circulation out of that 74 trillion is outside of Iraq. The CBI doesn't care about it. Okay, so when everybody goes to turn in their dinar to their banks, the banks will turn it back into their local treasuries, that kind of thing. Okay, it's all just going to get turned right back in. Okay, again, because most of it's outside of Iraq, and it's very simple. The CBI doesn't care about it because it's not internationally recognized and it's outside of the country. Okay, so we already squashed that because back on that information, the CBI blatantly said that once they delete the zeros, that tremendous amount of in dinar is going to drastically, significantly reduce. Okay, now on this one, CBI or Caparoni claims, and he cannot provide any factual proof at all, none. He claimed from some information he had from the year of 2013 that the CBI states they're going to float their currency, and because it's going to float, it's going to be a slow, gradual increase. Okay, guys, I have just found you an article from January of 2018, just only a year and a half ago. Okay, the CBI, what they did was they performed a virtual test of unpegging the Iraq dinar from the US dollar and pegging it to a basket of currencies, okay, to simulate a test and how that impacts the rate. Again, that's just from January of 2018. Now, second, history repeats itself. What do I mean by that? Look at how Kuwait is structured today. Years ago, Kuwait was physically pegged to the dollar, okay? Through probably roughly about 15 years ago, Kuwait unpegged from the dollar. I think it was around 2007, 2008 when the economy started to tank, okay, in the US and everything from the recession we had. That was when Kuwait unpegged from the dollar and repegged to an SDR basket, guys. That's how they've achieved their 3+ rate, is because of the basket. That basket today is worth approximately $1.40, the SDR basket, okay? Now, you've also, here's more proof. You've also seen it probably through the last 5 months. You've seen numerous articles from Iraq that have told you that they've pegged the Iraq dinar as of right now, again, over the last 5 months. They've pegged it to the dollars, kind of telling you it's worth a dollar and something cents, kind of in the dollar range value now. What they're simply telling you is if the rate were to change now, because it's keyword here, pegged to the US dollar, that's why it would be worth a dollar something, okay? The way it will achieve a 3+ or high dollar value, again, guys, is it will restructure exactly how Kuwait is today. It will unpeg from the dollar and repeg to the SDR basket, giving it a higher range, most likely in the 3+ range, okay? That's how Kuwait is structured today. Iraq will restructure in the same fashion as Kuwait, giving it that high 3+ rate, okay? And again, this article from January of 2018 clearly tells you, again, it was a virtual test that the CBI ran to unpeg the Iraq dinar from the US dollar and repegging it to the SDR basket. I have now provided factual proof of this. Caparoni can't provide anything to his claims. All he can do is talk out of his butt and not provide any factual intel, okay? So if his whole clueless audience wants to believe in his garbage and trash, hey, I wish them all the best. But what they're doing is they're believing a man who cannot provide any factual claims to his intel, and I've now provided factual claims squashing his entire theory of, oh, they have to float it because they have 74 trillion in circulation. Guys, again, that's because they had that's dinar in circulation around the world. CBI already came out and said they're going to pull that large amount out of circulation when the rate changes, okay? Because most of that 74 trillion is outside of Iraq, held by investors in other countries, and the CBI does not give two craps about it. They don't care about it because it's not internationally recognized, can't be used for anything. This article here squashes his theory. You guys have a great day.
Length of the article is 6 minutes. A simulation of the dinar exchange rate linked to the basket of currencies of Dr. Ahmed Abrihi Ali. Introduction. The stabilization of the national currency by a basket of currencies, which is among the world's exchange rate regimes, as well as stricter flexible bilateral linkage. Therefore, it is proposed that the dinar be pegged to a basket of major currencies, international reserve currencies, dominant in foreign trade and capital markets, United States dollars. But Iraq has been used to favoring bilateral ties in its monetary history and to this day. It is no secret to the followers of the argument of bilateral linkage in dollars in particular that the source of foreign currency to Iraq is the dollar first, and secondly the dollar is often in official international reserves and about 65%, and third, Iraq's foreign trade depends on the dollar's currency, even with neighboring and Asian countries, and the fourth most countries depend on the dollar to intervene in the market. Exchange is called the intervention currency, and in Iraq also operates the window of the central bank in dollars, and so we call the currency of the window. However, it is necessary to interact with the currency basket proposal and to discover patterns of exchange rate movement under this system. For those interested in decision makers to consider the performance of this system and how it differs from the bilateral link. The exchange rate of the dinar linked to a basket of currencies of varying weights. In this note, a review of the exchange rate of the euro, pound sterling, yen and Swiss currency against the dollar since the beginning of 1999. Then we assumed the Iraqi dinar was pegged to a basket of currencies according to three alternatives to weights between the 1st of January 1999, the beginning of the euro, and the beginning of the 10th of 2017. The weights are: first, 65% of the dollar, 20% of the euro, and the rest of the currencies 5% each. Second, 60% for the dollar, 20% for the euro, 10% for the sterling, and 5% for the Swiss and Japanese. Third, 50% to the dollar, 25% to the euro, 10% to the pound, 5.7% to the Swiss and Japanese. The exchange rate of the dinar was then calculated according to the linkage of these currencies. For simulations we assumed starting from the beginning of 2012, and points could be selected start again and recalculate, but this does not affect the pattern of movement up and down. It is important to state the results of the currency basket commitment and its weights in the exchange rate calculation, and within a period of time sufficient for the occurrence of cyclical changes and fluctuations in the relationship between the major currencies in the world. At the starting point on the first day of the first month for the year, the dollar was 1,200 dinars, i.e. at the moment of transition from the binary system to the basket. The exchange rates of other currencies change in dinars according to their exchange rates in dollars. The result is shown in the table at the end of this note, which shows how much the exchange rate will be in accordance with the currency basket and its stated weights. Below is pure experience with the assumption that the exchange rate of another primary is 1,700 dinars per dollar. The proposal to adopt a currency basket instead of a bilateral link means that the exchange rate of the dollar will change in dinars according to the exchange rate of the basket currencies against the dollar. How many will be change ranges? This is what you find in the table. When pricing the euro or the pound in dinars, it depends on the exchange rates between those currencies in dollars. For example, dollars per euro are multiplied by dinars per dollar and so on. So that the dealer who turned the dinar into euros and then to the dollar recovers the amount of the dinar he used it to buy the euro when converting dollars into dinars at the same market moment. Note that the euro exchange rate with the dollar is cyclical, and generally the trend of the exchange rate of all currencies for reasons related to productivity and therefore export prices imbalance of payments accordingly. Therefore, adoption of the basket does not guarantee a specific direction for the exchange rate of the dollar, or any other currency, in dinars. And when the basket is adopted, it does not require changing the exchange rate daily, but enough per week or monthly. These accounts and data presentations for clarification and knowledge of the quantitative scope of the issue under discussion. When you switch to a basket, you need to agree on currency's weights and why. The weights assumed in this note are close to the first alternative to the components of Iraq's international reserves. Relative components can be considered for foreign trade or others to propose weights. Table 1. Summary of exchange rate simulation results, JDs, when linked to a currency basket. From the assumed time horizon until October 2017.